Now hear this. Skoda Slavia may be its best car on sale. We liked it so much, we are on our second long-term Slavia. Over the months we've had this car, here's what I liked and what I didn't. So stick around, there's a lot of good and useful information coming your way, especially if you're interested in this car. First up, the looks and this special color. Take a look at how nicely these creases get highlighted in this matte shade. You can see every line, every single line the designer wants you to see, and that's why I like it in this matte color. In fact, it's even better in the sunlight, much better than I expected it to be. I also like how this bright work or chrome works on the grille as well as inside these headlights. It highlights them beautifully, gives them a bit of depth. Sure, the matte paint needs extra care and you have to instruct the person who washes your car to be extra careful not to scratch the surface, especially when removing dry dirt and bird excrement. But the ice cool look more than makes up. Also, although this wheelbase is really long, notice how high the car is off the ground. The ground clearance at its lowest point is 179 mm. That's almost as good as most SUVs. Well, that was our first good bit for the car. And another great thing that makes this car super practical is that the boot space is 521 liters. Just look at the space here. And few cars have a much larger or more practical boot. But there's a bad bit here. But there is one problem. If you sort of open it lightly and then try and put a bag in, look at that. That comes down and whacks you in the head. The thing to do is to open it and then push it all the way forward. But this boot and the car before it has knocked me in the head a couple of times. So be careful of that. I'm sure it made me smarter. Here's what I liked about the cabin. Now the interiors are a bit of a mixed bag. You have the solidly built parts like this glove box, superbly built. This little cubby hole here. And of course the doors. Tough, solid, and what I didn't. But there's also plastics like this which are soft, creaky, flexible, and well, not up to Skoda's international standard. But I have to say, I love the way the steering wheel is put together, and I like this touchscreen, the functionality, the color, the depth, and how quick it is. This digital instrument panel, however, is terrible. It's not designed well, and it's very difficult to get even essential information out of it in an easy and seamless manner. And here's another thing that irks. Also wish the AC was more powerful, especially in summer months, because when the cabin gets really hot, you have to really increase the fan speed to cool it down, and that's not always ideal. In fact, insiders say this is down to Skoda's smaller compressor. The powered seats prove to be a good upgrade, and it's so much easier to make small adjustments to my driving position, especially on long drives. And that helps take the pressure off your back. And what also helped, especially when getting into a warm car, were the cooled seats. And this is a big cabin with plenty of space in the rear. Now it has plenty of legroom in the back, a lot of space even with my driving position. And the seat is pretty comfortable, but 3 abreast isn't great, especially for long drives. And I've sort of found this out the hard way with the center passenger complaining a lot. On the move, the Slavia is just a joy. First up, I found the suspension just ideal for our roads. On its long travel suspension, it's pretty nifty, taking even large craters like this and big holes. It after all has as much clearance as most SUVs. Look at that, big crater. No problem. And that's great on an everyday basis. You don't need to worry about the condition of the road. You can just drive and forget about even large holes like this one. Now on the flip side, especially at low speeds and when taking off from rest, this DSG can get a bit hesitant or jerky. And well, you just got to drive around that. There's a bit of a pause at times, and then the power comes in with a bit of a rush, which means it's not as smooth as you would ideally like it to be. Traditional torque converter equipped automatics are generally smoother, and when pulled hard, the engine is noisy as well. This engine is also pretty noisy past 4000 RPM, and although it gives you a lot of power, 150 horsepower, it's pretty noisy. And this stretch and strain is something I had to contend with several times a day. Absolutely loved using the strong performance, however, especially that meaty mid-range. With this car, I also tended to plan intra-city excursions. And of course, what's always a pleasure is the neat and tidy, confidence-inspiring handling of this car. The car seems just so planted on the road despite that high ground clearance, and it's just a joy to carry on and do long distances, cover them at speed and with confidence. And not just that, it's even great in tight corners and has a playful fun side to it. Also like the fact that it has cylinder cutoff. Now where this engine helps with fuel economy is the eco mode. Drive on a light throttle and this blue eco pops up, and that means two of the cylinders aren't being fueled anymore. Cylinder cutoff, that's what this engine has, and that helps you get the fuel economy up. I find it's particularly helpful, especially when your fuel is a bit low and you want to stretch the range. I keep looking if I'm running in eco mode, and that sort of helps. Overall fuel economy in the real world between 10.8 kpl and 11.2, but this could rapidly get worse if I used a lot of full throttle. What is also pretty nice, especially for a car that drives this well, is the light steering. It's very easy to change lanes. It's light and easy when you're parking, and that takes the effort out of driving. It makes it pretty effortless to drive, especially in the city when you're taking a long drive in the city and you have to keep changing lanes, keep maneuvering. It's pretty nice. Summing up, the Slavia 1.5 automatic gets a double thumbs up, and that's because it does both practical transport and fun to drive in the same package. Power, performance, stability, handling, it has it all. And apart from not having ADAS, it's even reasonably well equipped. It gets a comfortable rear seat, it gives you a good sense of security, and comes with a 5-star safety rating. So if you're looking for an SUV in the 15 to 25 lakh space, make sure you also take a look at the Slavia. In many ways, it's a better alternative.